Hey everybody, I'm Christina and I make vlogs about my experience with myasthenia gravis. Today's video, I'm going to vlog you through my thymectomy experience from the day of the thymectomy at the hospital all the way through 6 weeks post-op. So you see my entire experience start to finish. I make these videos primarily for other people who have myasthenia gravis, or if you know somebody who does, so you can see what other people's experiences are like. I know we're all considered snowflakes because this disease is different for all of us, but it's kind of nice to just have a little community and see other people who are going through similar things. So let's jump right in. I'll tell you my story of the kind of thymectomy I got and all the details, and then we'll get right to the vlog. So I ended up getting a thymectomy because I had a CT scan done of my chest that showed a nodule, some kind of irregular nodule on my thymus that may have been a thymoma. And my neurologist immediately referred me to a cardiothoracic surgeon to remove it. Because there's such a close link between thymus issues and myasthenia gravis, they'll just take it out. Sometimes it's not even worth it doing other scans, especially because there's a lot of evidence that even removing a totally normal thymus can actually get to remission of symptoms for MG. So as soon as it came back with that possible nodule on it, he immediately just referred me to surgery. So I met with my surgeon, who was amazing. Very glad I got him. And he's really knowledgeable about thymectomies. He's been doing them for years and years and keeps up on research with different styles and techniques. And he explained to me that he likes to do thymectomies robotically, using 3 robot arms through incisions on the side of the chest. For me, he wanted to go in through the left side because my nodule on my thymus was closer to that side, so he wanted to make sure he had a better view of it. He said he prefers to do the thymectomy robotically because he can put a camera in and just get a full view without having to crack through the sternum, and mine was not massive enough and it wasn't wrapped around any other organs or anything like that, where he didn't feel like he would have to go through my chest. He also said once he got in to do the surgery, if anything looked different than he expected, he can always just put a second camera through the other side of my chest so he could have a more clear 360-degree view. He also explained that for him, the sternotomy, going down the middle, is really just for emergencies. He does not do that very often at all, and he kind of sees it as more of an old school technique. But either way, I felt really comfortable with him. I felt like he was really knowledgeable. I trusted everything he was saying, so I felt really comfortable going into the surgery. So before the surgery, there were some appointments I had to go to. I had to see my doctor about 2 weeks prior to go over a breathing test and make sure I had a negative COVID test the day before surgery. And then once all that was cleared, my blood work came back okay, then I was good to go and cleared for surgery the next day. So it is the night before thymectomy. I'm supposed to be here at 5:30 in the morning. It's 10:15 now. I'm supposed to take 1 300 milligram pill of gabapentin tonight and then 1 right before I leave in the morning. I can't eat after midnight, and I can't have any liquid at all after 4:30 in the morning. So clear liquid only, really just gonna drink water after midnight. I still gotta shower. I have to shower with antibacterial soap. I can put on no lotion, no deodorant, nothing afterwards, no nail polish. I don't know why, it was in the paperwork. And then me and my husband are gonna get up at 2:30 in the morning so that we can actually have a regular morning and drink coffee and tea, watch a TV show, and chill for a little bit to de-stress before we hit to the hospital early. And we got to the hospital bright and early. They took me back to this area where I could change, put my little surgery cap on. I got to meet with the anesthesiologist and the surgeon. They gave me all the rundown before the surgery. And I got to sit with my husband for a little bit before I went back to go under. Now, I was unconscious even before I hit the surgery room, so when I woke up, I was discombobulated. This is me in the recovery room where they take you immediately after surgery to get you observed, make sure you're breathing okay. They also want you to walk around this room, but clearly I didn't feel great. So this is just all of the IVs that I was connected to, and the little contraption is a spirometer, which I'll talk about later in the video. I was also connected to this drainage box that was attached to the chest tube. So if you can see that clear tube with blood in it, that was actually draining blood out of my chest cavity into that box. Hi, I am in the hospital for overnight observation. I should be leaving in the morning, but it's almost 11 o'clock at night. I got to the hospital at 5:30 in the morning. Thymectomy started, I think, at 8:30. I was already unconscious.
before they even wheeled me into the room because they gave me Valium and it knocked me out. So I went to recovery for a little bit. They made you walk a lap around the recovery kind of wing before I was allowed to move into my private room, and now I've been in my private room since maybe 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I had to sit. Sorry. I have a pillow that I'm supposed to hug when I cough because it helps with the discomfort. So I had to sit upright. There's a chair over there that I was in, and I have to go back in the chair in the morning to be upright. And I'm on a strict medication schedule. It's now 11, and I just took a bundle of medications about 45 minutes ago. At 12, the nurse is coming back in to give me Toradol, which is a painkiller that I'm familiar with, and I know it works for me because it's the one I got with my IVIG that reduces and stopped my meningitis as a side effect. And then at 4 a.m., the respiratory therapists are coming in, and I've been getting a nebulizer and a little mask. So I'm gonna get more of that at 4 a.m. I don't know how long that lasts. And then at 6 a.m. I get another round of all the medicine. There's a couple painkillers. There's Tylenol. There's gabapentin, which is the nerve blocker, the same one that I took before the surgery. Although I did get that stuck in my throat. I've been getting a lot of pills stuck in my throat here. So what else? Tylenol, gabapentin. I'm gonna get my regular Mestinon, Pepcid for nausea, and there's like a anti-constipation pill or something like that. So I take all of those all at the same time, and that's happening at 6 a.m. All right, let me show you my little pillow situation I got going on. This is a lung. So when I cough, I hold on to that because it makes the pain better. I have all these wires and things still attached that they go through here. And I'll show you all my attachments where it's hooked up to and everything. And then I have this too. And then what you cannot see, which I can barely even see, is my chest tube, which is on this side. I was under impression that there would be multiple chest tubes out of the incisions for the surgery, and there aren't. It's a totally separate, at least I think it's a totally separate spot. And it's supposed to drain fluids and stuff. I don't have a lot of fluid that I'm draining, which they said is good. Everything is looking good. All my numbers are good. So I should be able to go home by tomorrow morning and then just rest and sleep for eternity because I can feel it. The painkillers help a lot, but I can still feel it. Yeah, I think that was everything I wanted to update. Oh, last thing. Let me show you this. This is normal for a lot of surgeries. I don't remember what it's called, but I have to blow in that to make sure, I'm sorry, not blow in it, I have to inhale into it to make sure I'm able to take a deep breath. Because through the surgery, in order to get the 3 robot arms in, remember they had to collapse my lung, so they're trying to make sure that my lung is doing what it's supposed to do, and it's getting there. It's not quite yet.
And then here's my private room that I was in. I don't know if that's standard for hospitals, but I was so excited I got a private room because I was connected to all these wires and had nurses checking on me 4 hours, and I actually got to sleep because I was alone in my own space. So I got this respiratory treatment every 4 hours. The nurses would come in to check on me and check all these wires which were attached to God only knows what. I was not entirely with it while I was in the hospital. They also came in to check the chest tube, which I'm going to show you in a second. The chest tube went through the middle incision for the surgery, and it was draining the blood out of my chest cavity. And this is what it looks like. You won't see the blood, no worries, but you can see the tube, and that's where it was draining out of. And they had to check that periodically to make sure I was draining properly. Good morning. It's the day after my surgery. The hospital stay overnight went really well. I kept having to wake up in the middle of the night for different meds and treatments and stuff, but it was fine. So today, all I have left, I got all my painkillers in the morning so far. I'm scheduled for one more breathing respiratory thing, the nebulizer. And then 9 o'clock, I think I get something else. I don't remember what it is. But that's the last thing.
And then after that, as long as everything's looking good, I should be able to be discharged after 9 a.m. Today, the pain is worse. I can feel more of my chest. It doesn't feel comfortable. I took the painkillers. They're working, but not a whole lot. So I still have to do this breathing thing as often as possible. But I had to wait till the painkillers kick in because it hurts to do it while it hurts. So that's it for now. I'll let you know when I am out of the hospital. And once I'm home, I'm off for 3 weeks. So I get to recover as best I can. So, yay. I'm glad it went well. Not excited about this pain today, but I'm glad it's going well.
First couple days of recovery and I didn't feel great. I was doing my spirometer around the clock. They said 10 times an hour was recommended. So I did that as often as I could. And I also used my leg massager that I have. This is a compression leg massager next to my tray of medication, which helped with the swelling and discomfort in my legs. I did get swelling in my lower legs and in my ankles. You can kind of see the swelling in the video here. It felt worse than it looked. So I also put my feet in my feet massager, which highly recommend. This is like the best $70 I've ever spent in my life. If massage is helpful for you, it really felt amazing for me. Good morning. It's Saturday morning, which means I'm finally allowed to take a shower and take the dressing off of my wound and clean the wounds. I'm not allowed to scrub them, but just, clean in the shower. So I'm going to show you what it looks like, what the dressing looks like. If you don't like blood and bruises, please just fast forward through the next couple of minutes because I'm going to show you what it looks like since they put it on at the hospital. Now remember, the point of having a bandage on that incision is that as I am leaking fluid, so to speak, the bandage is catching it. So it is filled with fluid and blood. So again, fast forward if you're not interested. Last warning for incoming gross stuff. So here is where the incisions were done. The first incision is here. This is where the chest tube was and the fluid that was draining from it. And then the last incision is right here. This one has been particularly painful in recovery this week. So I'm hoping that they heal really quickly. So I'm going to take a shower, clean all that up, and hopefully feel more comfortable after they're all clean and everything. So it has barely been an hour since I got out of the shower, and these incisions hurt so bad. It's the one, primarily the lowest one, not even the one that had the tube in it, but it just hurts and aches. So I'm coughing with the chest pillow again. I'm still coughing. Everything is still otherwise normal, but these incisions, oof, I'm not enjoying this. Okay, so today is Sunday night. Thymectomy was Wednesday morning. Healing's going well. I still have my little lung pillow. I'm resting a lot, but I'm also moving around the house and making sure that I'm not just sitting so we don't get stagnant lymph and swelling and things like that. Taking my medicine regularly. Things are going good. Only thing I'm concerned about, I actually sent a message to my surgeon. One of my incisions does not look good. Two of them look kind of like I expect incisions to look. The nurses did tell me that some of them might leak. Not literally gushing fluid or anything like that, but they might just like leak a tiny little bit, and I could have put a bandage on it and that was fine. Two of the incisions did that. I just put the bandage on it, no big deal. But one of the incisions is opening. So I looked at a picture of when I left the hospital and the incision was closed and sealed. It now has like stretched open to the point that I can see stitches inside of it. And I don't think it should be healing that way. Other than that, everything is good. That's the only thing that I'm concerned about. So yeah, I'll wait to hear back from him and then I'll update if he says if it's okay or if I need to like go get it stitched back up. The weird thing is the incision that looks the best, that's the tightest closed, is the one that hurts the most. That's the one like under the boob, because that's where they went, at least to my understanding, that's where they went in where there's the most nerve endings, and they went through my ribs for that one. And they told me that that one was probably going to hurt the most, and it does. So it's been uncomfortable. The painkillers really help, but they wear off. I'm someone who medication doesn't last very long with me. I usually have to take higher dosages than normal. So the painkillers work for a while, they wear off, I'm in pain, and then I can take them again and rinse and repeat. So I'm hoping as time goes on and things heal better that the pain gets a little bit better and I don't have this weird time period where the painkillers aren't working. So yeah, I'll update anytime there's anything to talk about once I find out about these incisions. So also during recovery, they told me to walk around, get outside if I could. So me and my husband walked to the coffee shop. This was about 15-minute round trip walk and I felt good. I also did LED treatments. This is a professional device. I'm an esthetician. This helps to increase the speed of wound healing, which I really needed for my incisions because that one did not look good. I'm going to show you what that looked like now. This was after a week of the incision opening up, 2 weeks almost after surgery. I showed this picture to my surgeon and he immediately was like, come into the office. So I went in and he actually took the stitches out of the wound so that it could heal more effectively. It was gross. So day 14 post-thymectomy and I am here with my kitties. I'm feeling really good. Basically the sensations that I have left still are like under my rib cage. I still have a little bit of sensitivity kind of going along to the middle of my chest. I think that's where one of the robot arms went. And like I said earlier, they did tell me that that incision would hurt the most, and it basically has. The chest tube incision is healing really well. I'll show you the one that's not healing so well, the one that opened up, because I did see my surgeon today about it. I had my follow-up for the thymectomy. He said everything's going well. I'm doing good with the medication that I'm taking, slowly tapering off of the gabapentin and the Celebrex. I think I'm done on Thursday. And then later this week, I actually start Hizentra subcutaneous IG instead of IV IG. So I'm sure I'll make a video about that. So it's good. This week is good. I still have about a week left off work, which is good because I feel like I need a little more healing time still and painkiller time. So yeah, I'm doing really good. I'm going to drink some of this caffeinated chai. It's my first caffeine since surgery. And then I'll show you what the incisions are looking like now. So this is what the incisions look like. The first one is an open wound because the incision opened. So if you don't want to see that, maybe look away for a second. So remember there were 3 incisions here, here, and here. And I'll show you all the healing scars from them. The bottom one was the one that went through my ribs and hurt the most. The middle one had the chest tube in it. The top one, I just learned today, was the largest one. That's the one I actually used to pull the whole thymus out of my body. And my thymus was 10 centimeters by 7 centimeters, which is massive. So I think that's why that one opened up. So gross wound incoming. Don't look if you don't want to see it. That's what this one looks like. It's pretty gross. I'm going to bandage it in a little bit. It's not supposed to look like that. That was a mistake. Chest tube one though, so this is the second incision. This one looks pretty good and is healing well. This is totally scabbed over, which is good. That's kind of what we're going for. The third incision, the one that went through my ribs, that looks beautiful. That is healing really well. So those are the 3 incision scars for the thymectomy. Or I shouldn't call them scars because they haven't totally healed yet. Incision wounds. Sorry, the one looks so gross. So it is now 6 weeks post-thymectomy. I got really busy after the last update. I went back to work. I was feeling well enough to work and go back to my normal schedule. And I've been feeling pretty good. I am almost entirely healed. I want to say I'm like 95% healed. So first of all, I want to show you what the incisions look like now that they're basically turning into scars. And then kind of just my final rounded out thoughts now that I'm 6 weeks out past surgery. I am, however, going to do another video if you're looking for like tips and tricks and things. I'm going to make a video about how I prepare for my thymectomy, tips and tricks that help me through, and things that I kind of wish I would have known before I go into it. So that is going to be coming soon. So I'm going to show you the incisions of the scars now at this point. But the first thing I want to note actually is this that I'm wearing that I'm going to pull down to show you the scars. This is a tank top that has a built-in padding in it. I've not been able to wear a real bra in 6 weeks. So some people are not going to be bothered by that. I actually happen to like the supportive bras. So I've been wearing things like this for a while. So let me show you what the incisions look like. This is the one that opened up and had looked really bad. It's pretty much completely flat now and healed. This is the one where, remember, my thymus was pulled out of. This is the chest tube scar. Not too bad. This one's healed now too and pretty flat. And then this one, this is the one that went through my ribs, and this one was the most painful for a while, but it's not too bad anymore. So this is the scarring that I'm left with after my robotic thymectomy. I don't think it is too bad at all. Honestly, I don't even really mind the scarring because the only one that you can really see is this one if I'm wearing like a tank top or something like that, but the other ones are like, who is staring at my side boob on a regular basis? So I don't mind the scars. I'm sure they'll lighten up a little bit over time. I also might do some of that scar silicone stuff, but we'll see. So my final thoughts on the thymectomy is I am so glad that I did it. I'm not seeing too much of a change in symptoms yet, but I did see one big change, which is my breathing is better. One of the symptoms that I had just for the few months leading up to the thymectomy is I was feeling like there was a weight on my chest, like something was sitting on my chest, and then I would notice that I would just exhale and not inhale afterwards. And then I would catch myself and kind of have to like catch my breath and force myself to breathe. I had to manually make myself inhale and exhale because my body just wasn't doing it automatically. And that was scary. But I haven't had that happen at all since the thymectomy. So that's the biggest thing that I've noticed symptom-wise that makes me feel glad that I did it. On the other side, I'm glad that I did it just because that thymus had no business being in this body. My thymus was 10 centimeters by 7 centimeters. And I actually found some research and some studies that showed that people who do not have myasthenia gravis, who have a healthy thymus, 74% of people don't have a thymus at all by the time they get to adulthood. Their body's completely turned it into fatty tissue. And the remaining percentage of people who do, their thymus is anywhere from a half a centimeter to 1 centimeter. And mine was 10 by 7 centimeters. So really, she shouldn't be living here. I'm glad she's gone. Also, really, really hopeful for the future. So remember early in the video, we said that there's a 70% chance of remission for myasthenia gravis from a thymectomy, but it can take 2 to 5 years. So we'll hang in there and we'll see. I will continue making updates if things change and if I feel better and how I'm doing. And I'm hoping that I get the best results possible. I've seen so many people get incredible results from a thymectomy. I'm hoping I'm in that camp. I know there is a 30% chance that it won't change anything at all, but I'm gonna stay positive. And I'm gonna say that I'm gonna get into remission at some point. Medicated or unmedicated, I don't even care. As long as I'm feeling better in the future.